Colossal is Crazy is one that has been talked about to a great extent in the commentary community. He has one of the most interesting reputations I've seen. It appears that people tend to either adore him or loathe him, and the conversation continues with the unique nature of his videos, as he's not as most YouTubers are. He has also been surrounded by questions, such as his identity, how he's so popular, his origins on YouTube, and others of the sort. But aside from his more elusive character, he does have quite a following. While he doesn't have that much of his own content, he surely does appear quite a lot in the community. I'd say the main reason for his success is attributed to the fact of his personality and voice, which is probably one of the most fascinating aspects of his channel, and him as a person. But with that, this is a look at Colossal is Crazy. Clown, as I'll be referring to him, falls under one of the three most common archetypes for commentary-style videos. The three go like this, using gameplay, using facecam, and using clips of the user at hand. Clown pretty much just uses clips of the person he's talking about, continually editing in a fast pace as to not be taken down by copyright. There isn't much visual substance other than so, but of what he has, it's incredibly well edited. The editing style in general has changed from video to video, some of them being more chopped up, while some of them being quite a bit smooth in their transitions. While he has experimented with different editing, he's stated that he wants to be more consistent in the style of editing that he wants to use, giving a specific example of the video Weed. Another common trait to see within his videos is the use of subtitles. He often pieces them together individually as to go by very quickly. This specific trait can be traced back to when he used to make Call of Duty trolling videos. The subject matter of the videos themselves entirely consists of other YouTubers. Every video he's ever made relates to YouTube in one way or another. Clown only makes two types of videos, the kind where he discusses and explores a keyword, such as exposed, prank, challenge, and others, and the other type where he discusses a specific YouTuber, such as FouseyTube, Basherverse, Linemaker, and others. He talks about them and them alone. Now, after the amount of videos of his I've mentioned, would you care to guess how many of them I haven't mentioned yet? Well, it's only 3. These 3 would be Amazing, the Amazing Atheist Documentary, Parody, and Linemaker Interview. You see, Clown only has, as of writing this, 10 videos. Oddly, this has been a point of discussion towards his channel, the lack of content. Consistency has always been something of value on YouTube, yet Clown is one of the rare YouTubers that actually have made it without the need of consistency. So despite the lack of content, Clown stands at over 300,000 subscribers, and his least popular video getting as high as 400,000 views. So how did this happen? How is it that he so easily manages to defy the YouTube algorithm? Well, it's a simple look into how people used to become popular. A long time ago on YouTube, videos went viral because people shared them. In the same sort of light, Clown manages to get great audiences through the word of mouth. If people didn't pick up on and share his content, he wouldn't be where he is today. With titles and thumbnails like these, it doesn't seem as though all of his videos would do that well. But that aside, the explanation for the lack of content is extremely simple. He has a job outside of YouTube. People have labeled him as lazy, but I see it as quite the opposite. While he did say he only does YouTube for fun, he sure does put a great amount of time into it. Putting aside the amount of work that already goes into the videos themselves, he also has a podcast and frequently collaborates with different people, showing up on multiple different podcasts and videos. Also, he's fairly frequent on Twitter and is generally a busy person. Many have told him to quit his job and do YouTube full-time, as he has a large enough audience to support him. This would allow him to put out content on a more regular basis, instead of every 2 months as we've come to expect, which honestly now is every 6 months. But even then, it may take quite a bit of time before he decides to do anything along those lines. Even then, he has talked about making a Patreon, possibly marking the beginnings as a full-time YouTuber. but only the future will tell what he decides to do. Going back to what I mentioned about him being on podcasts, Clown has had an odd history with them. I'd even go as far as to say that he's part of the reason the commentary podcasts are what they are today. Clown is one of the founders of what many know as the Baited podcast, which was, in its prime, one of the biggest podcasts to exist on YouTube. While he is no longer on the podcast, he will be coming back at a later date, according to his Twitter and a few other sources. But after his falling out with Keemstar, one of the co-hosts of this podcast, he went off to start a new one, known as Catch 33. Part of the reason I mention this is because a lot of Clown's reputation comes from his history with Keemstar. He originally intended to make a video on Keemstar, but the project was cancelled as every point he wanted to make had already been covered. Many people know how to make videos like Colossal is crazy, but no one can be him, as he is the reason his videos are so entertaining. He could talk about a wall over a black screen and still make good content. So, what's so special about him? The reason Clown is known as the best person for podcasts is because of his personality. He comes off as very intelligent with quite an ego. His accent only helps to further the character that he has portrayed. Clown specifically says that he plays up his ego for entertainment, and he's not wrong, it is very entertaining. Because of this, he has one of the most recognizable voices in the commentary community. While he certainly sounds very intelligent, it only fits, as he is known to be so. Maybe not as much as he comes off as, but he certainly is not stupid. Clown is very critical, as that's the entirety of his videos, criticizing the actions and content of others. Clown is a strong believer in harsh criticism, and that can be reflected in how he treats those he doesn't like. Even as he can be very insultive, it's all done in the hope of improvement. Even then, even as harsh as he can be, he's still said to be too nice sometimes, forgiving people more times than they may deserve. He may not be directly nice, but he'd still make a good friend. In treating his friends, he's still open to criticizing them, but he's mostly funny in the fact of being so overly harsh and insultive, which most of the time is purely a joke. Everyone has their own sense of comedy, and at the end of the day, his slanderous behavior is done in the light of fun. Clown is also a very tolerant person, made obvious by the fact that he stayed on a podcast with Keemstar for 13 episodes. And he's dealt with the general community, so you have to give him credit for that. Even then, he generally seems to be very fed up with a lot of the different drama and occurrences within the community. Clown is pretty good about receiving hate. In fact, he can enjoy it sometimes when reading some of the ridiculous things people say. But because Clown is so respected, most of the hate comes from people complaining that he left the Baited podcast, and not so much people disliking him in general. But still, there are people that simply aren't a fan of him. Overall, he has one of the most unique and interesting personalities online in general, and I would be willing to say it, alongside his voice, is almost the only reason he's so popular. Most just his voice, though. Clown is respected because he makes good content, is consistent in his opinions, hasn't done anything wrong in the eyes of the community, and is generally pretty intelligent. He hasn't given people much of a reason to hate him, and as such doesn't receive much hate. His content is praised as some of the best, his personality is loved by many, and his voice sells it all. But to top it all off, he's just a good member and example of the commentary community. It's hard to really say much without repeating myself, as that basically sums it all up, but I myself see him as a little bit overrated. You can praise his content all you want, but at the end of the day, he's one of the last few on YouTube that are just doing it for fun.